Welcome back from that short break. In case you're just joining us, this is the News International edition, and we are coming to you live from our Vision Group headquarters here in Kampala, Uganda. Now, the people of Nashville have paid tribute to the victims of the school shooting that left 6 people dead. Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department have released footage showing the shooter, Audrey Hale, entering the Covenant School heavily armed. A former student at the school was shot dead by the police. We have more.
A makeshift memorial outside a private elementary school in Nashville, Tennessee, where a heavily armed former student killed 3 young children and 3 staff in what appeared to be a carefully planned attack on Monday. Police has named the suspect as Audrey Hale, who left behind a manifesto and had maps of the school detailing surveillance and entry-exit points.
I just got off work. I live here in Nashville, and I live in this neighborhood, this community, and all day I've been at work, and I've just been watching the news and just really horrified and just very sad. And there's nothing really anyone can do, but I just kind of wanted to, out of respect, I was at the grocery store getting groceries, and I was thinking about it, and I saw flowers, and I just thought I would just bring some flowers down here.
As Christians, we felt compelled to come here to pray, and we've been praying all day, and we just felt compelled to come here and show support for the Nashville community. We both live in Nashville, and we just we felt like this is where we needed to be.
I felt like I was in shock, and that it was just so close to home, and the fact that it was an attack on our children, but I think it just I was just in shock. Like, oh my goodness, this just happened and it's right up the street,
Armed with at least 2 assault rifles and a handgun, 28-year-old Hale entered the Covenant School, a Christian academy, from a side entrance, firing multiple shots while advancing through the building and shooting people before being shot dead. One of the 3 children was 8 years old and 2 were aged 9, while the adults killed were aged 60 to 61. School shootings are alarmingly common in the United States, where the proliferation of firearms has soared in recent years. President Joe Biden described the latest shooting as sick and says gun violence is ripping the soul of the nation. There have been 129 mass shootings defined as incidents in which 4 or more people were shot or killed so far this year, according to data from the Gun Violence Archive.
I don't think anything's going to change. I mean, people are just too obsessed with that. I mean, I'm all for gun rights. I have a gun. I carry a gun with me most days, but I don't need an assault rifle, and I don't think it should be as easy to buy flowers as it is a gun. There's just not enough to protect children.
Biden's calls for Congress to reinstate the national ban on assault rifles, which existed from 1994 to 2004, have run up against opposition from Republicans who are staunch defenders of the constitutional right to bear arms. The deadlock in Washington has come despite the public uproar over high-profile massacres such as the one at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut in 2012, when 26 people, including 20 children, were killed. The 2018 murder of 14 students and 3 staff members in Parkland, Florida, fueled a nationwide movement led by young people to demand stricter gun controls, but failed to spur significant action in Congress.
Prince Harry has appeared at a London court for a second day of a privacy claim against the publisher of the Daily Mail Associated Newspapers over claims of unlawful activity at its titles.
Prince Harry and pop superstar Elton John are delivering a high-profile push to a privacy claim launched by celebrities and other figures against Daily Mail. The publisher, Associated Newspapers (ANL), is trying to end the High Court claims brought over alleged unlawful activity at its titles. Harry, who now lives in California, announced in early 2020 he was quitting royal duties and has since launched a barrage of criticism of the British royal family. Others taking part in the legal action include actress Elizabeth Hurley, David Furnish, and campaigner Doreen Lawrence, the mother of Stephen Lawrence, whose racially motivated murder in 1993 led to the uncovering of serious UK police failings. Lawyers for the group told the court the publisher of the Daily Mail commissioned the breaking and entry into private property, illegally intercepted voicemail messages and obtained medical records. The alleged wrongdoing dates from 1993 to 2011, but some went on as late as 2018. ANL has described the allegations as preposterous smears and a pre-planned and orchestrated attempt to drag the mail titles into the phone hacking scandal. Britain's phone hacking scandal, which first blew up in 2006, saw journalists at the Rupert Murdoch-owned News of the World hack into the voicemails of royals, celebrities and murder victims. It triggered the closure of the mass-selling Sunday tabloid, a mammoth police investigation, a judge-led inquiry, and criminal charges that gripped Britain for years. A 4-day preliminary hearing is being held at the High Court, with ANL arguing that the allegations are stale and should be dismissed without trial. Harry, the younger son of Britain's King Charles III, has long had a difficult relationship with the media. His mother, Princess Diana, died in a car crash in Paris in 1997 after she and her companion Dodi Fayed left the Ritz Hotel, pursued by paparazzi photographers. In 2019, while on a tour of South Africa with his wife Meghan, Harry linked media intrusion to Diana's death and spoke of his fears of history repeating itself. Both Harry and Meghan have been involved in other recent legal action targeting British newspapers. The couple, whose popularity ratings have plummeted, have dominated headlines in the past few years due to a string of interviews, a Netflix series, and Harry's autobiography Spare, in which they complain bitterly about their treatment as working members of the royal family. Buckingham Palace has not responded to the claims, while the late Queen Elizabeth II famously commented that recollections may vary.
And finally, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has met with Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo in the first stage of an Africa trip, announcing a bilateral aid package and $100 million to shore up security in coastal West Africa. The trip to Ghana, Tanzania and Zambia until April 2nd follows a December summit hosted by President Joe Biden in Washington with leaders from Africa, where the U.S. hopes to balance the rising influence of China and Russia. After a brief meeting at the presidential palace in the capital, Accra, Akufo-Addo and Harris said the visit would strengthen ties and opportunities between the long-time partners. Struggling with an economic crisis, burgeoning debt and inflation of over 50%, Ghana has agreed on a $3 billion loan that will deal with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. The U.S. will also provide Ghana with $139 million in bilateral assistance next year. This will go towards economic, business and cultural initiatives, as well as the health sector, with projects such as an anti-malaria program. Ghana has pushed for more regional military cooperation among West African coastal states, as well as initiatives to help developments and aid in vulnerable northern border regions. Harris said the Biden administration would invest $100 million as part of a plan to help Ghana, Benin, Togo and Ivory Coast in stabilization, governance and countering the threat of jihadism. After Ghana, she will travel on Wednesday to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania.
President Biden and I have made clear that the United States is strengthening our partnerships across the continent of Africa. And we are guided not by what we can do for Africa, but what we can do with Africa and our African partners on this continent.
I'm happy to state that this afternoon's meeting has further boosted the steadfast cooperation between us. And Ghana will continue to collaborate with the United States of America at all levels.
And that's all the international news we had for you. Thank you for watching and do have yourselves a fantastic afternoon.